Get your jumping cables. My battery is low. My car ain't riding right. I need a jump. God bless everybody. Hope y'all are doing well as we thank God for so much. Big brother PP Drawings got me so fired up. I've been in here looking at a few comments from him and Lady D and so many of y'all, man, that just powerful, powerful, powerful comments. And that builds me up and it fires me up when I know that we are on one accord. It's always a blessing to see brothers and sisters getting along who love each other, care for each other. But PP Drawings, one of your comments hit me so hard. That's why I'm doing this video. Get your jumping cables. My battery is low. And one of your comments stuck out so hard to me because I just did that video talking about we got so much technology now that people don't have faith no more because of technology. A lot of people don't have faith at all. And you left a comment on that video that just, it did it for me. It did it. Your comment said that man is trusting in everything except what we're supposed to be trusting in. You said we have slowly but surely learned how to take our faith out of God. But we better quickly learn how to put it back in God. Putting our faith back in God. Let the church say amen after that. And I thought about how so many people lose faith and panic just because their car won't start. So once again, my title says, get your jumping cables because my battery is low. I'm not hitting on all cylinders. Something wrong. I don't know if it's the starter, the battery. I need help. I need a jump. And y'all know oftentimes I like to look at the body and then look at our vehicles and compare them so much because they have so much in common. But I want to use this title and I want y'all to look at this in the spirit with me. See, some people really don't understand in this life how much we really, truly need each other. When you look at a vehicle and what all it takes to make it run, and look at how everything works together and do its job. Just like when we look at our body and then we look at our mind. The mind tells me to move my hands. And what can you really do without the mind? What can a car really be good for without the motor in it if you need to get around? See, a car have problems just like we do. New cars and old cars. One thing about a car, it's going to break down one day. And when it breaks down, how do you deal with it? Do you panic? Do you lose faith in your vehicle? Just like we do when we break down in life. Do we lose faith in God? Do we give up? See, in the car, we see the engine light might pop on. So many lights on the dashboard telling you oil is low. You need oil change. Antifreeze is low. Service engine light just blinking and blinking. Well, we the same way. We need to tune up. If a car has no antifreeze in it, no water in it, it will overheat. Well, look at our bodies. Try walking down the street in 100-degree weather and you haven't had nothing to drink. See what happened to your body. You start breaking down. Your body shuts down just like a car shuts down. Are y'all feeling me in this video? And we know how much of our body is made up of water. But to look at the title of this video, sometimes in the car, the battery will go dead. The battery get old. It's a lot of batteries. You got to put a little water in them. Old folks will put aspirins in there, Tylenols in there to help it boom back up. But when that battery goes down and get low, it's hard for that battery to crank that car up. But see, you don't look at that as it's such a bad thing because that's not saying that the car is totally destroyed. The battery just went down. It just need a jump. Or you might need a new battery. And then a lot of times, what caused that battery to go down, it could be the alternator have gotten very weak. It could be the starter pulling draining it when the starter gets ready to go out. And if you can just find somebody with them jumping cables and they give you a boost, you can easily be right back up and running just like that. Well, let's look at each other. See, it's times when we are down and out. There are going to be times when you just don't feel like going to church. Some of y'all let that right now. There are going to be times when you get tired of church folks. It's going to be times when you get tired of family. You're going to get so down and out, and you're going to need a jump. See, it's times that I go through so many things in my life, I say sometime enough is enough. And that's when I need PP Drawings to give me a jump. Thank God for your PP Drawings with your jumping cables, because now I'm right back started again. See, people don't understand, when we do all this teaching and preaching and ministering, a lot of times pastors going to get down and out. And they need spiritually jumped off. That's why the congregation should be jumping their pastors off. The choir members should be jumping the minister of music. Everybody should be jumping each other off. Encouraging each other. Praying for one another. Speaking good in each other's life. Oh, but we see it's not too many people like that nowadays. PP Drawings have helped me fire my engine back up. Spark plug wasn't right. It was fouled out. PP Drawings came along and said, here go another spark plug. And sometimes you can take a spark plug off, put a little heat to it and wipe it back off and put it back in the car like it's brand new. How can you start up your car without the starter, the battery, the alternator? How can we start our life and keep going, waking up every morning and going on without God? Impossible. It's impossible. Even on older cars, we know there's so many ways to start the car. You can get your screwdriver, tap them bolts together if the starter done messed up on you, and you can still crank the car up. You can even get around a whole lot of things on the car, and the car will still run, but it won't be running right with it. And when you cut it off, you wondering, is it going to come back on? Am I going to have to do something else to get it back on? I don't know. I'm guessing at it. Some of us are guessing at our lives because we don't really know what to do. We lost. So in the spirit, when you look at this, what I'm talking about, when we get down and out, we need them boosting cables. We need God more now than ever before. You need to be in this right here, this word of God. When you get a poor spirit, see, somebody looking at this video got a poor spirit. But let me tell you something, my brothers and sisters. Just like when the battery might get low, it's not always over with. You know why? Because that battery can be jumped off again. Same thing with a poor spirit. It's not over with just because you got a poor spirit. It can be lifted up again. As a matter of fact, as I'm thinking about the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5, the first beatitude in the Sermon on the Mount says, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's awesome to me. I talked about the woman with the blood issue who walked around for, what it was, about 12 years. Going to this doctor. Could none of them doctors heal her until she got to Dr. Jesus, who is the doctor of all doctors, the healer of all healers. And she knew that if she could just touch the hem of his garment, she could be made whole again. But when she was walking around all that time with that blood issue, her spirit was poor. Just like somebody got cancer right now. Doctor tell you you got 6 weeks to live. Your spirit ain't feeling all that good. Some people is. But a lot of people, when they receive bad news, they become having a poor spirit. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. We got to lift each other up when we see a poor spirit. God Almighty. So let's hook these cables up and fire each other up, and we're going to keep on driving. When PP Drawings leave those comments, Lady D leave those comments, Sister Marie, Big Brother Miniman, K-Ray, all of y'all, Sister Dee Dee, Sister Maria, and we praying for you, Maria. We haven't saw you on here in a while. Y'all are firing me up. Let me take it all the way real. When you haters on her, I sure pray and hope that all of my haters who can't stand me just might happen to see this video. Don't you know y'all firing me up? Every time you send hate my way, I use haters as my elevators. I keep going. I keep driving. See, some of us are staying dead on the road too much. Still sitting in the car, focusing on the problem, and ain't came up with no solution. Haters, keep on hating. See, when you think about negative folks in your way, you're going to always have negative people in your way. I said this a long time ago on her. You ever notice in the car, you got a negative cable and you got a positive cable right there on your battery. And we know which one goes to the starter. This is why you can take your cable off. I'm going to let y'all answer this. Which cable can you take off the battery and the car still keep running? Or can you take both of the cables off and the battery and still keep running? It's one or two answers to that question. Or is it three answers? Not a trick question. And if you take that cable off and the car shuts off, then you know your alternator is bad. Oh yeah. See, JT know a whole lot about cars. I done hung around the best. Got taught by the best. Still hang with the best. That's why you don't panic when things go wrong. Some of us are hanging around too many negative people, but you can't even crank your car up without your negative. God Almighty. Let the church say amen. Y'all feel me? We put so many miles and miles and miles on our vehicles. We got a lot of miles on our bodies. Some of us are so woe out and ruined from punishing our bodies, whether it's drugs, drinking, sex, you name it. Body got a whole lot of miles on it. Tune-up ain't even doing it no good. Y'all will catch that later on. So we need spiritual tune-ups. Some of us are sitting in park too long, transmission going out. Car ain't moving. Some of these churches ain't moving at all. They too dead. You see what happened to a car when it just sit up? It's no good at all. It start rotting out. Everything about it becomes toe up. Just like when a house sit up. Look at what happened to our body when we just sit up. We won't study. We won't exercise. We won't live right. Body just getting more and more destroyed every day. And then we got the nerve to say, well, God called them on in too early. Man done drunk himself to death, and we still talking about he went home too early. You ain't good for nothing when you just sit up. This is why I know my vehicles left and right. When something go wrong with any one of my vehicles, I pretty much know what it is. Because why? We spend so much time together. We know each other. Same way with God. God created us so God knows what's wrong with us. He know the problem and the solution. He know how to fix it. He know what we need to do next. God is my heavenly auto mechanic. Y'all feel me in the spirit? People say you can't do nothing with an old vehicle. I prove people wrong all the time. My old truck outside, I have brought many people home in it. Even had to use my own truck a few times to push my own car to the house. You can take an old vehicle and make it new. God Almighty. Make it new. You can even keep the same body and put a new motor in it. See, when you think about cars, they get hit. They get damaged. Just like we get hit in our lives. Bad things come upon us. Sometimes we wonder why this happened to me. You look at a car and how it gets totaled out. But a lot of times, what people don't look at is that a car can get hit and the body is damaged, but ain't nothing wrong with the motor. It's still good. The transmission is still good. You think I'm lying? Go walk around in some of these wrecking yards. You'll see the body is totaled, but it didn't even harm the motor. It didn't harm the transmission. So you can take that motor out and sit it in what? A new body. What they got to do with our body, JT? Well, just look at this old jacked up, dirty flesh. God is going to do us the same way. He's going to take us out this filth, this sinful body, and put us in a new spiritual body, glorified body, one that won't grow old, one that won't get tired, one that won't have sickness, one that won't have no pain at all, no more suffering, no evil thoughts. See, we don't even know when to shout. We don't even know when to shout. You better get happy when you think about your spiritual body. But some of us don't even want to die to get it. We're always talking about we want to go to heaven. And then as soon as somebody dies, oh Lord, bring them back. Don't bring me back. Let me get my new body. Let me wait on my new body, because this right here is getting the best of me a lot of times. Sometimes I wake up, feel like I'm 100 years old. And then the next day I can wake up like I'm 12 years old. Feel like I can run like a kid. We got too many issues with this body. But one day, you're not going to need that. We don't know when to shout. Let the church say amen. So we all should be carrying our jumping cables so we can charge each other up when we get down, Brother PP Drawings. It's a lot of batteries right now that's down. See, the battery, it's going to crank up the car. Oh, yeah. It's going to crank. It's got the cranking amps. But the battery, it's not up to the battery to keep the car running. Y'all don't feel me. Once the battery has done its job, it's all on the alternator. That's why that belt goes around that alternator and everything else, to keep it going. If you cut that belt off that alternator, you on your battery. You can't run that long off your battery. See, we can only run a short time on our battery just before the whole car gonna go dead. It need that alternator, just like we need God. We can only run so long on our own before we crash. We need God as our alternator to keep us going, to keep us alive. But one day our motor will finally give in. It's gonna lock up. It's gonna throw a ride. Whoo! It ain't gonna be nothing you can do. You can get another motor. You can even rework that one if it's not so far gone. Have it rebuild. But when we look at this in the spirit, we're talking about ourselves now. When it's all over, when our heart stops, what's next? See, some of us ride around with not even trying to worry about nothing at all. We too cocky. Some of us drive our cars with no tools, no spare tire, no flow jack, no nothing. See, we ride dangerously when we ride like that, because we think, well, can't nothing happen to me, really. And then you get mad when you get a flat. Well, brother, I got AAA. I got this. Somebody gonna always come help me. If I get stranded, I can depend on AAA. Just like some of us. We want God to do everything. So we expect God to do it all for us. You better be careful when you think like that. See, I'm getting ready to close. I ride prepared for whatever, because I never know what's going to happen in my life. Yes, the Bible tells me don't worry, but the Bible also teaches me to be prepared for whatever. So I keep blankets in the back. I got a flow jack in the car that can jack up an airplane if I need to. I stay prepared. Even got little snacks if I get hungry. I stay prepared just in case I might catch a flat. I got my tools in the trunk just in case some bolt might get loose and I might need to tighten up stuff. A lot of times we can save so much time by doing stuff by ourselves. I got my tools in the trunk. I got my jumping cables, extra water, oil, all types of things. But in the spirit, I'm riding with all my tools. And y'all know what my tools are? My prayer, my praise, my worship. And you know what the real tool is? This right here. A lot of people got this in their front seat, up under the seat, in the back seat, even small was in the glove department. but they never opened it. This is my sword. This is my tool. The Bible. That's all I need. Right here. So it don't matter what come my way. I got my tools. Right here. And so, if it might be a time when I can't figure it out, I can't get the car running, I can't fix the flat myself, I just might have to call a tow truck and get lifted up off the ground and tow my car home. Well, I'm going back to the spirit now. God is my tow truck. God lifts me up when I can't do nothing no more. When I have done all that I can do, that's it for me. Time's up. Close the door. JT is done. I have ran the race. See, a lot of times we want to say we got to run fast, we got to move fast. It's not about how fast you're moving, long as you're moving. Because the race is not given to the fast. So whether you're moving fast or moving slow, just be moving. Stop sitting still like a lot of these dead, jacked up churches are. They sitting still and been sitting still for ages. So with that being said, let us learn from yesterday. Live for today. Hope and pray for tomorrow. Peace.